we acknowledge and we celebrate the amazing and the wonderful things that ordinary people do for others who are in a situation where they need assistance.
I'm trying to push them in my community to be strong.
They said, well, if you want to care for it, go for it.
We have delivered 8,000 meals for more than 800 individuals who are facing financial hardship due to COVID pandemic.
I always listen to my father singing about the land, the water, the sea, the bird, the smoking ceremony. And I was listening when I was 5 years old. I started music with the Iraqi, didgeridoo, and clapping stick. I started to play instrument, keyboard, playing bass, rhythm, and I tried to put all the traditional song into my Western music. My father said, Olmia, what kind of a style that? This is my style, you love my style. Can I do it with the traditional song? That's your dream, go for it. I'm taking my music around the world and taking all my group on every big festival like that, I always take them. I went to Budapest Festival, went to Europe, different places there. I got 2 bands. This is my Olmia band with me, Tony, and my boy, ourselves. And I got a big group called Yilila band. I like to record and performing with other musicians. My favorite instrument is Indian tabla. I like to play with the tabla with my traditional song. Some young generation interesting traditional song, ceremony, but some nothing. I'm trying to push them in my community to be strong. That's how we put our music, traditional song in, we put it on video so they can listen and thinking about how they're gonna do their future. I got 12 years old grandson. He always ask me, Amri mean granddad in their language. Amri, what you do when you go overseas or you do your music like that? And I tell my grandson, everything you never see, you can see there. And he said to me, one day, I'll be follow you and I'll be play this for you in stage with you. I like to pass it over to the generation. If you concentrate, traveling or music or whatever, what you want, just put it here.
I have lived in the Northern Territory for nearly 50 years, and in that time I have done so many things. It's hard to remember them all, but the most wonderful thing that I've ever done is set up an organisation called Seniors of Excellence of the Northern Territory. And in that program, we acknowledge and we celebrate the amazing and the wonderful things that ordinary people do for others who are in a situation where they need assistance, they need a little love and understanding. Nominations come to us from across the length and the breadth of the Northern Territory. Aboriginal communities, small villages, larger towns, and the cities of Darwin and Alice Springs. So it's all embracing. In 2014, our very first awards presentation, we acknowledged 22 wonderful people. In 10 years, we have acknowledged 185. Here's an example of that. This is our little award that we present to each and every one of our Seniors of Excellence. The really wonderful thing about our program is that we acknowledge and celebrate every nomination that comes in, regardless of whether they are professors, doctors, or the bloke that comes in and mows your lawn. Every one of these wonderful people have done amazing things, and we have found them and said, thank you. My goal now is to take that program into Australia, where other Australians can be acknowledged and celebrated. I am all about saying thank you. You are wonderful. You've done a great job.
When I arrived to the Northern Territory in my early 20s, I had only two things. I had a bag of dreams and a luggage of hopes. The Northern Territory has given me the opportunities to grow. It has given me the people I call my community. It has given me the place that I call home. I believe the best way to feel belong to a place is to participate, and there is no better way to participate other than volunteering. When the whole world stopped for the pandemic, a group of friends, former and current international students came together to establish a task force called Kindness Shake. We have delivered 8,000 meals for more than 800 individuals who are facing financial hardship due to COVID pandemic. Today, Kindness Shake is a leading advocacy, peak international student body in the Northern Territory, working for the advancement of international education. And I further went on developing another not-for-profit called Road-Track Young Professionals, bringing all the service-minded young leaders together to harness their skills and expertise to give back to the territory. They are your lawyers, they are your engineers, your accountants, nurses, and occupational therapists, and so on. They all give up their time to add value to the place that we live through community service projects. When I arrived to Australia, I was welcomed to the Northern Territory. But today, there are important key reforms that are happening nationally that's bringing uncertainty and questions among our international student community. It brings the question whether Australia is still the most preferred education destination. This is an opportunity for us to acknowledge and understand the importance of international education and the values that it brings to this country. As a former international student and a multicultural youth in the Northern Territory, it is so important for me to inspire the next generation of young leaders to step up and contribute to the communities in the ways that they're truly passionate about. Everything that I've done and everything that I will do in the future is the way I give back to the place that I live, the Territory.
Every animal has its own personality, whether it be a bird, whether it be a wallaby, whether it be a possum. They're all unique, and it's great to see something go back into the wild. I found a little baby bird at the back of my work. It had no feathers, had beautiful big eyes and was screaming, covered in green ants. And so I picked it up, I pulled all the green ants off, and I rang Parks and Wildlife at that stage and said, you know, can you come and rescue the bird? And they said, no, we don't have any carers, just put it back. I'm like, it's got no feathers, it's not going to survive. So they said, well, if you want to care for it, go for it. That's the very first little fig bird that started my journey. In 1996, I created Wildcare. Wildcare rescues, rehabilitates and releases native animals back into the wild. We get many calls a day from members of the public. We send out a volunteer to collect the animal, or if the animal's very injured, we ask the public to take them to the vet directly. And then we take them into care, we look after them, and when they're ready, they're released back into their natural habitat, preferably where they were found. When we started Wildcare, we had 5 members, but then we've grown. We now have 144 members and a lot of carers. We also educate the community. We go to schools and do school talks, and we train volunteers to do what we do, which is fantastic. When I noticed that we were having an impact was when the calls increased. We used to get 2 or 3 rescue calls a day, and over the last 5 to 10 years, it's increased to up to 15 calls a day for injured animals. So our name is getting out there, and we're actually being able to save more animals. One thing I'd love people to take away from what we do is to look out for our wildlife, because there's so much destruction in the world today, and our animals just have no chance without our help. There's bulldozers, there's fires, floods, and they have no one to care for them and support them. So Wildcare does what we can. It's not a cheap thing, raising wildlife, and it's a lot of commitment. but so rewarding.